The COVID-19 pandemic has affected the lives of people across the globe. As of June 8th, around 7 million people have caught the virus. 400,000 lives have already been lost. People from Japan and around the world are working hard to keep their compatriots safe from this new threat. In the Philippines,
縦看板や街宣車を使って正しい情報を発信する活動を行っています。
in Vietnam,
very early emergency relief by supplying some kind of the medical equipment.
in Uganda,
We provide a job, work for those who have lost their work by making the mask and so on.
our new series, Conquering COVID-19, discover how people on the front lines are battling the pandemic. Our first episode takes place in Malaysia. All of the footage comes from local videographers on the ground. We're in Malaysia, which had previously recorded the highest number of virus cases in Southeast Asia around mid-March. Dedicated heroes who studied Japanese disaster relief techniques are putting their skills to the test in the struggle against this pandemic.
And to help out the response in the COVID pandemic.
Kita bekerja, tapi dalam masa yang sama kita boleh bantu masyarakat yang hadapi masalah.
May 19th. It's been 2 months since Malaysia entered lockdown. Now it has been partially lifted under something called a Conditional Movement Control Order. People can go outside, but normal life is still a distant dream. A line of people maintain social distance outside a supermarket, which only allows a few customers inside at once. All shoppers must sign in at the entrance. This allows any infections to be quickly traced. Some regions are still under regular movement control orders or full lockdown. Areas are broken down by risk of infection. If anywhere reports over 40 cases of the virus, it becomes an automatic red zone. The government begins disinfection work there and increases monitoring.
Kita bertindak sebagai pasukan zon merah, yang mana anggota kita akan masuk ke kawasan zon merah untuk menjalankan kerja-kerja yang diamanahkanlah. Antara tugas yang kita buat di PKPD itu adalah kita menyalurkan bantuan makanan, bantuan keperluan harian, penduduk kawasan tersebut, membantu agensi membuat saringan kesihatan.
This is Muhammad Zubir bin Muhammad Juzad. He heads the APM COVID-19 team, which tackles on-the-ground work. APM is the Malay acronym for the Malaysia Civil Defense Force. The APM falls under the jurisdiction of the Prime Minister's office and exists to support civilians. It has a staff of 7,000, around 90% of whom are volunteers. Today, Zubir heads out early to a quarantine station, one of 169 across the country. It's a dormitory attached to a government training ground that has been repurposed for the pandemic. It's being used to observe and monitor people who've returned from abroad for 14 days. The rooms are strictly monitored to prevent any spread of infection. The doors cannot be opened except to receive food. Under Zubir's directions, the team delivering meals put on protective gear and take safety precautions. To prevent infection, the staff stay on site for 14 days with no changes to team members. Part of Zubir's job is keeping on top of the team's health. At the quarantine station, he heads for the team rec room. When mass infection first became a concern, it was Zubir's job to secure quarantine stations across Malaysia. The government put out appeals to hotels in case public facilities weren't sufficient.
Jadi pasukan saya akan turun, kita akan tetap hotel tersebut, pastikan laluan-laluan yang perlu ditutup, yang perlu kita kata hadang ataupun di barricade khas untuk laluan, kalau mudahnya saya sebenarnya PUS, person under surveillance, laluan PUS dan juga kaedah penghantaran makanan.
Today, Zubir is visiting the staff to make sure everyone at the quarantine station is following instructions. There are about 200 quarantine people here, foreign workers from Bangladesh and Myanmar, and their families.
Antara tugas saya adalah memastikan SOP yang kita tetapkan dipatuhi.
Zubir began volunteering for APM as a student because he wanted to help and protect others. When he took a paid position and was promoted to director, he began to worry about gaps in his knowledge.
Saya perlu buka minda saya. Saya perlu belajar tentang pengurusan bencana ini lebih formal. Agar ianya kita kata tersusunlah dalam minda kita tu, dalam pemikiran, kotak pemikiran kita tu, kita dapat faham apa itu pengurusan bencana. Apa yang membuatkan saya minat untuk join program tersebut di MJIIT adalah kerana yang pertamanya ia adalah kita kata coursework lah, kerja khusus.
The Malaysia-Japan International Institute of Technology. It was built by the governments of the two countries in 2011 on the campus of Malaysia's University of Technology. Experts from the Japan International Cooperation Agency were dispatched to provide technical expertise on subjects such as disaster preparedness. Malaysia has long suffered economic damage from floods and landslides. The government needed people with a broad, practical understanding of such disasters to provide help.
Kemudian penglibatan tenaga pengajar daripada pakar-pakar pengurusan bencana daripada negara Jepun. Gunung berapi, mereka ada gempa bumi, mereka ada taifun dan pelbagai lah. Jadi saya rasa semasa itu ini adalah peluang terbaik sebab saya dapat belajar daripada tenaga pengajar yang datang daripada tempat yang memang banyak bencana. Jadi kita kata dia punya lesson learn tu akan lebih mudah difahami lah kerana mereka mengalaminya berbanding dengan orang yang faham teori. Mereka ini adalah orang yang menghadapi situasi tersebut. Itu yang membuatkan saya memilih MJIIT.
Dr. Okano Takase manages the Japanese staff at the institute.
防災分野の卒業生たちは、行政機関で、働いていたり、する学生たちが、主ですので、卒業した後自分たちが何ていうんですかね、防災専攻で学んだことを、フィールドで今度役立てる。でまたその時にそういえばなんていうんですかね、学んだ先生たちともコミュニケーションを取りながら卒業した後もそれで終わるのではなくってつながりの中でいろんな実践につながっている。
After studying Japanese techniques, Zubir used what he learned with the Defense Force. He provided humanitarian support, such as flood rescue and setting up evacuation centers. He's removed trees brought down by severe rain and performed animal rescue.
Kalau kita kerja sebagai penyelamat macam APM ni, kita bekerja tapi dalam masa yang sama kita boleh bantu masyarakat yang menghadapi masalah. Jadi rasa satu kepuasan lah, satu kepuasan yang mana kita dua dalam satu lah.
Today, he's visiting another quarantine station's ready room. Zubir goes over every detail of the manual on how to treat people who might have the virus. He explains how to minimize the risks of infection. The audience includes volunteers and hotel staff, as well as APM workers. It even includes police officers who provide security.
Discharge proses untuk PUS di stesen quarantine hotel bagi PUS yang pulang daripada luar negara itu bermula 3 hari sebelum tarikh discharge sebenar. Tuan-tuan dan puan-puan dalam masa tempoh 14 hari itu must work together lah. Must work together closely. 14 hari kita jadi family lah. Ini 22 hari bulan, 24 tak ada.
Zubir's home is in the suburbs, about 50 kilometers from central Kuala Lumpur. The virus hit a major peak in March. Flooded with work, Zubir often slept at the office to save time. He only returned home once a week. But he always goes through the same steps. All his belongings go on a garden table. And then he sprays them with disinfectant. His jacket comes off and is washed at once. And finally, he has a shower. As soon as the virus reached Malaysia, Zubir set up a shower in his garden.
Apabila saya mandi di luar rumah, saya mengurangkan risiko pencemaran silang untuk masuk ke dalam rumah. Apabila kita faham dan kita tahu kita telah memasuki ataupun pergi ke tempat-tempat yang berisiko, saya sebagai seorang frontliners, saya mesti bekerja. Saya perlu ke sana. Tapi saya juga sebagai seorang bapa, sebagai seorang suami, saya juga perlu berada di rumah.
Zubir isn't the only Malaysian who studied Japanese disaster preparedness at MJIIT. Dr. Shahharu Nizam bin Ahmed Zamzali. He's currently an emergency medic as well as an APM volunteer. He also held lectures on preventative medicine and spoke on the radio when the virus first appeared. He focused on the importance of washing hands. His wife, Noor Zarina, is also a doctor. They run this clinic together. She does most of the clinical work here, and Shahharu comes in once a week. Since the pandemic began, he's returned to the institute labs he graduated from. All classes are suspended until the end of the year because of the pandemic. To prevent infection, all visitors need special permission to enter the premises. Our crew receives special dispensation. Shahharu is here to meet one of the technical instructors. The Institute's precision machinery workshop was built with assistance from Japan. This space is usually used for teaching, but because of the pandemic, a limited number of teachers and technicians are using it to develop new medical support tools. On the computer screens are some new designs. The data is sent to the machines, which cut out acrylic panels with maximum efficiency.
Frame to the shield.
Put the pieces together and
We start with the front first. This is our face shield.
these medical face shields will be donated to hospitals.
Doctor, you want to test? Yeah.
Shahharuru advises the workers here on what medical teams need in the field.
Usually, the things that people give to the doctors, to the frontliners, they maybe is not really functioning well for us. So my job is to give the feedback to the people.
Medical staff use aerosol boxes to prevent infection from airborne droplets when intubating patients.
Even if they access the patient,
But a standard aerosol box has large holes which leave staff vulnerable.
From the patient going out
So the team has made changes.
which slides into a slot which has silicone rubber, so that when they access the patient through this hole, there is minimal exposure. So when they remove the hand, the hole closes again.
They listen to feedback and make improvements. These boxes will also be donated to hospitals.
Now, the network that I gained in MJIIT and the knowledge and the network is being utilized even now, and especially now during the COVID pandemic, in terms of new products design, networks with corporate sectors, and also networks with the technical sectors. So I feel this is what I was looking into when I joined MJIIT.
Shaharuru made one extraordinary request.
In a new innovation of this big box, so it's going to be portable, it's going to be small, so it can be transported easier.
So that was a challenge for me, to come up with a box that is collapsible, and I came up with 3-4 different concepts. There's still a lot of improvement that needs to be done with this product and so on.
The doctor delivers the completed face shields. He's going to a university hospital about 20 kilometers from central Kuala Lumpur. The hospital has not been assigned to treat coronavirus patients, but is looking to prepare for any possibility. The new aerosol boxes with silicone covers were donated earlier. He asked the staff for their thoughts.
Like this, and then after that, once I put on the laryngoscope inside the patient mouth, and then the next step will be the insertion of the endotracheal tube. All right? Okay, this is what we call the aerosol generating procedure. At this point, the patient mouth will be widely open, and the chances of the aerosols coming out and disperse is very high. So we hope we can contain everything inside here. Right?
With this box, actually, it's just adding another layer of a safety barrier for us, the healthcare worker itself.
He also shows them the collapsible aerosol box.
Before this, when I was in the medical response, we are only thinking of the medical aspect. But after joining MJIIT, we tend to look at it at a bigger picture, and we have more networks to help out the response in the COVID pandemic.
May 24th. Today is Hari Raya, a celebration of the end of Ramadan and the biggest event of the year. Usually, the streets are packed with people going to pray at the mosques. But the pandemic means everybody has to stay at home. Shaharuru is also staying at home this year. Normally, every distant relative gathers for the celebration. But this year, only immediate family will be together. He's not even able to visit his parents who live nearby.
For the Raya, it is definitely different. To me, my personal opinion, that this is what people are thinking, that during Raya, we need to visit the family. But in view of the infection of the COVID-19, we have to take some sacrifice, because we know that for us, both of us, we are working in the clinic as doctors, we are working in the front line. We do not want to expose the elderly to the infection, because this is the sacrifice that we need to take at this time. Okay? So, but we do not want to deprive our family and ourselves from the social contact. So that's why we still make the video call. So because at least, even if we are not here together, we are still sort of celebrating together.
Baba, okay, selamat Hari Raya, Baba. Okay, I hope you take care of yourself whenever you do your job outside. Because it's so much like you're exposed to the other people outside. So as a doctor, there is a risk to the COVID-19. So I hope he will stay safe, whatever he's doing outside. for the whole family. Because we need him. Yeah, we need him. He's doing an outside job, but we also need him at home. Yeah. Thank you.
Shaharuru and Zubir are leveraging their knowledge of Japanese disaster preparedness from MJIIT to fight the coronavirus.
Okay, man. Everything good?
And this battle will be a long one. The notice board at the quarantine center where Zubir works is covered in messages from the people under observation there. Many of the messages say, "Thank you." Both men are working hard for Malaysia. And they have a message for their colleagues fighting the pandemic across the globe.
COVID-19 ni telah menjadi satu pandemik yang kita kata secara global, satu bencana kepada dunia. Bencana adalah urusan semua orang. Jadi saya menyeru kepada semua orang agar tidak berputus asa dalam memerangi wabak COVID-19 ini.
Then we know that COVID-19 is something that you need to be vigilant, meaning you have to be careful, but you do not fear it too much, meaning causing some phobia and anxiety where you don't cripples your whole life. So life goes on. This is what we are trying to face next after this is life goes on, but in a new way. The new normal will be developed.
Learning from Japanese disaster techniques, Malaysia is continuing its crusade against COVID-19.